2023 Chatsworth divorce case, trying to file because this was a judgment we took over, judgment prep we took over yesterday, and it's already finalized. They're trying to do a default without agreement. You know how I say don't do the without agreement type cases. Multiple rejects. I want to say it was twice. It wasn't so bad. And when I reviewed their paperwork, their petition, their summons, their proof of service, and even the default had been entered, but the judgment was getting rejected multiple times. So as I mentioned, the default was already entered, but so when I look at these cases, I do an assessment. She was trying to push this through as a default without an agreement. And as always, my first question is, will your spouse participate, cooperate? And she said, the issue is he's in the Philippines. I said, that's not an issue the question was, will he participate? She said, she'll find out. So she calls me the next day and says, yes, he will participate. So she hires me because that's the whole deal with us. If they'll participate, cooperate, I don't care where you live. We handle cases with clients all over the country. As long as one of you live in California, we can file your case here. So again, this was a case she had already filed. She'd already filed the default. So she'd gone quite far along, but then the judgment was getting rejected. And the issue was, there's lots of issues. When she completed the property declarations, she really messed them up, filled out the separate property, community property wrong. And then she filed new ones trying to fix it. And then she had crossed over the separate onto the community. So it was a big old mess. And the judgment simply said, this is not a fair division of community property. One major thing she did is she listed a term life insurance policy and showed it with a value of $300,000. Well, the court thought that needed to be divided and the other party needed to be assigned $150,000. So don't list term life insurance policies unless you're dead, because that's the only time there's going to be real value in the term policy. So those are not assets. Keep in mind, we always tell you don't file the property declarations. If she knew this was going to be a true default from the beginning and knew the other party wasn't going to be involved, that's the only way you can do it. But as I said, I asked, hey, will they participate, cooperate, sign off on things? Yes, perfect. So I went in, and now we don't have to have even distribution or equal division of the assets and debts. It can be however you like in most of our cases, because both parties are signing off on it. Another complication that came up was she had already filed the request in her default and it was entered. Had she called me prior to that, I probably would have had the respondent file a response, and we probably could have got a fee waiver because he's not in country, not working. If I can remember, I'll talk about the fee waivers again, because there's an interesting case we had today. But I would have filed the response to avoid him having to go to the U.S. consulate in the Philippines to get his settlement agreement notarized. We can't undo the default. It was already entered. There is technically a way, but I think that would have taken more time to request the court set that aside, then file the response. So he's just going to have to go to the consulate. That was the plan from the get-go, was if he cooperates, he needs to sign the settlement agreement and take it to the consulate and have that notarized.